What is up, everybody? Today we're going to tell you just how much it costs to move to Florida.
Cheesy.
We do all sorts of videos with info about moving to Florida and activities you can do once you get here. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe down below. Guys, we're so close, and at 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give one of you lucky viewers a t-shirt. To be in the running, all you have to do is subscribe to our channel and comment on our videos. That's it. What are you doing?
I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the weather till we get to the good stuff.
All right, just sit there and look pretty. All right, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so we know everyone's different and we are definitely not the norm, but for this scenario we're going to talk about, let's say, a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 children moving from a 3-bedroom house. Pretty normal, right? Mm-hmm. Now we can only talk about things we know about, so for this scenario we're also going to assume that you're going to come down to Florida and rent. If you came from a 3-bedroom house, you're probably going to rent a 3-bedroom house once you get to Florida. I've done a little research, and it's pretty average that you're going to find a 3-bedroom house in a decent community here in Florida about $1,500 a month. And most places are going to ask for first month, last month, and security deposit. So your moving expenses are already up to $4,500.
Now, obviously these prices would vary depending on your style. If you want to be in like a more luxurious area, then yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more than that. Or if you say you want to be in something more smaller, a little bit easier. Say you do a trailer home, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's lots of them around here, and there's lots of nice ones. Maybe it'd be a little less. It all really depends on your taste and your budget and what you want.
But from our research, $1,500 a month, you should be able to find a 3-bedroom place anywhere in Florida for that price. And you could even go the apartment route, maybe find it a little bit less. Now this is where it gets a little tricky, and we kind of got to go 2 different ways, okay? So you can either choose to hire movers or you can move yourself. Now we polled a lot of our viewers on different social medias, and we came up with an average price for movers around $5,000 to $6,000. Now that's also kind of an average price. You know, if you're moving from Washington State to Florida, it's going to be a little bit more. If you're only moving from Tennessee to Florida, it's going to be quite a bit less. Most people we find are moving from either the Northeast or the Midwest, so $5,000 to $6,000 seems about average. I can tell you from personal experience, we paid $6,000 to move from Wisconsin.
Now, however, I did talk to some family that has made the exact same move that we did, going from Wisconsin to Florida. And I think it all depends on what you want those movers to do too.
Right.
Because you could have somebody like
pack up your stuff for you.
Right, and then put it all out, put everything together for you, and then that number will significantly go up.
It's all on your budget, but I believe $5,000 to $6,000 coming from the Midwest or the Northeast is a pretty good estimate. Now, if you do the different route and go with a U-Haul or a Penske or any other moving truck, the average we've seen is about $2,000. Now, that being said, that is renting the moving truck along with a car trailer, because one adult's got to drive the moving truck, right? So only one car can be driven down if you have 2 cars. So whoever's driving the moving truck is going to have to tow that car. The average price we found, like I said, is about $2,000 if you do the moving truck route. The other option you could choose is to use pods or U-Pack, where they bring pretty much a storage container to your house, you pack it, and then they move it for you. If you choose to do that, that price is right about in between the price of renting a moving truck and hiring movers. If you hired movers, you have to drive both your cars down to Florida. Gas for driving 2 vehicles from a Midwest or Northeast state down to Florida is going to run you about $200 each, so about $400 total in gas. Now after packing all your stuff up, you're going to be tired. You're not going to want to drive straight through, so let's throw a hotel in there too, right? About $150 average for a hotel, just, you know, a regular 2 queen beds. Got something to add? You look like you want to say something.
No. I had said to you that I'm forgetting we're doing a scenario with a smaller family because we
have to rent a suite.
We're roughly around about 200, little over, for a hotel room. But that's for our family. We're doing a different scenario, so I have to keep like
reminding
myself that, because our costs on all of this was a lot
more
higher, but I have to keep reminding myself this is not our family.
Now, one some people have forgotten about when they're adding up their moving costs is food for your trip down. Usually, you know, a family of 4, you could probably get a meal for $25, $30, right? Fast food, as much as it's no good. It's easy, right? So you got to figure a 2-day trip. I'd say about $150 you're going to spend just on food in those 2 days driving down. Now,
if you want to do the route that we have learned is get a cooler, get some lunch meat, get some cheese, get some salads, all of that, and that cost can significantly go down.
One thing I didn't mention before, if you go the U-Haul route, yes, you're going to only have to drive down one vehicle and tow the other, but your gas costs are going to go up. So for this scenario, we're going to say instead of $400 total for gas, driving your own 2 vehicles down, if you go the U-Haul route, you're probably going to end up spending about $600 in gas. So you've hired the movers or you've driven your own stuff down and you're here. Expenses are done, right? No, they're not. If you're coming down with 2 adults with 2 vehicles, you're going to have to get Florida driver's licenses and register your cars in Florida. Now, the first time you go to do this, you're going to spend about $450 each, that being for 1 license and 1 car registration from out of state. So for car registration and 2 Florida driver's licenses, you're looking at about $900. Now, the last couple we're going to mention here are ones that I've seen missed many other places that talk about moving expenses when it comes to Florida, or anywhere really, if you're gonna relocate. And the first one is you're gonna have to restock your entire fridge and pantry. You're not gonna bring all of your stuff with you, right?
No, we donated our food.
We donated a lot of our food. We gave away pretty much everything in our fridge, and I think it's a pretty conservative estimate to say you're gonna spend $400 just to restock your fridge and pantry. That's, again, on the low side.
Smaller family.
Yeah, right. I guess ours was probably closer to 6, but we got more mouths to feed. Another thing that we didn't know about is some areas actually require deposits on your utilities, that being water and electric. Where we are, they did require a deposit. They didn't, but they did. The only way they didn't require a deposit if you could come with 2 years of printed payment history from your previous providers of utilities, which
we didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody
Otherwise,
has.
we would have had it.
You can probably get that printed off from your local utility company before you move, and you can avoid the deposits. But for us, the deposits were about $200 for water and $200 for electric. So there's another $400 added cost. Now, the last thing we want to talk about is the added expenses once you get here. Random things you probably forgot about.
This is my jam.
You want to take it away?
Yeah. So, ladies, gentlemen out there who may be a lot like I am, in the sense that you're in a new place. You're starting your life over. We need new things, right? New house, new start.
Well, and one thing we didn't think about is patio furniture. We had plastic lawn chairs. We came here, we have a front porch, we have a back porch, and we have our balcony, which we're on right now. So we had to kind of outfit those with patio furniture to be able to enjoy them.
And new targets, right? So, yeah. So I would, again, you did the numbers.
I have written down $1,000 for random things once you get here. Now, I guess if you're choosing to buy furniture, it's going to be quite a bit more, but I'm talking about random things around the house, like, oh my gosh, here I need a new extension cord to be able to reach here, you know, this and that. So about $1,000, just a little bit of a cushion to live comfortably.
Before we moved, we sold all of our living room furniture. I had also purchased new living room furniture before we got down here. There was a lot of people who had opinions on that. Thought it was kind of a silly idea.
We purchased furniture in Wisconsin and moved it down here. It didn't. We already had paid for the movers, so it didn't cost us any more money to add this to the trailer.
Exactly, and the furniture people had brought our furniture nicely wrapped. Everything was, you know, safe to get on the moving truck.
They put it together wrong, and I had to redo it.
Yeah, so that was a bummer.
Yeah.
But I felt at the time, how am I going to feel after we've moved across the country? We don't have anybody here. I just knew, me personally, I'm going to want to get into my home. I'm going to want everything set up. I'm going to want to feel as homey as I can be right away. So I was like, that's what is the best decision for our family. That was just a decision that we made. I'm extremely happy that we did. I don't know, for some reason I thought it was gonna be cheaper. I didn't know the place that we had gotten our furniture is somewhere we've always gotten our furniture. So it was just a place that I really trusted.
Felt comfortable with.
And I felt comfortable, and I knew they would take care of our stuff and wrap it well. They knew we were moving here. So again, that was just a choice we made. Now with the extra added things, he's gonna go into the nitty gritty of like bills and this stuff, and my part is like, okay, you know, every time we've moved, we've always switched up the bathrooms,
yeah, right,
and switched up, you know, the beddings and this and that. So not everybody is like that.
A new home, you want it to feel like a new place, right?
So yeah, he estimated $1,000. However, he estimated that with a bunch of other stuff that he's going to get into. So if you're a lot like me and, you know, you want that extra money to go splurge at your Target or wherever, I would up it a little bit more, but we're gonna give you tips and ideas of how to offset that cost.
So if you haven't had a notebook handy and been jotting down all the numbers I've given you, that's okay. I got them right here for you. If you're planning
and I can rewind and re-listen to it.
Whatever.
That's awesome about, you know, it being a video.
Okay, if you don't have a calculator,
okay,
I'll be your calculator right here.
Oh,
okay,
boy.
So if you're
Double check your work.
if you're going to make the move with movers from someplace, you know, realistically close to where we were, Wisconsin, if you're coming from the Midwest or if you're coming from the Northeast, with movers, I came up with a total of about $13,400. If you're gonna move yourself with a U-Haul, I'm at about $10,100. That being said, we believe it's very important to give yourself a cushion of at least a few $1,000s for the unexpected costs that could come up.
Like, for us, we're the type of family that we would have never made this move without a cushion.
Right.
That's just who we are. This is just our opinion. We would have never moved across the country away from everything we know, all of our family. That is my biggest advice that I can give you, is have a cushion.
Now let me tell you how to get that cushion. If you're coming from any other place in the country, more than likely you have a whole basement full of stuff, okay? What are you gonna do with that? It's not all gonna fit in your Florida home because there's no basements, right? So what we did is we hopped on Facebook Marketplace and we sold tons of our stuff. And it was easy, wasn't it? It was super easy, and within about the month's time that we had to sell stuff on there, we made about $5,000 that we used towards our moving costs coming down
And
here.
if we would have had more time, we would have made more.
Right. And that being said too, I was fortunate enough where I negotiated with my new employer to help pay some of our moving costs. So between what my employer paid and what we were able to raise from selling stuff, our move really didn't cost us anything.
No.
Don't consider that cushion your savings.
Right. There is a huge difference, because the cushion money that we had made from everything that we had sold before we left, that played in effect with patio furniture,
right,
all the new stuff
right,
I wanted in the house, with also knowing that we
right,
had our savings that we did not touch.
Right.
Again, I feel like that's extremely important to have, so to speak, two cushions, having your savings and then having the money that you'll use.
Overestimate what it's going to cost you to move.
Overestimate.
Okay? Don't take our word for it and say, well, Eric and Lindsay said we only need $13,400. Call the utility companies, see if they require a deposit. Get quotes from movers, see exactly what your moving cost will be.
Another thing we didn't think of, maybe you have family coming down with you to help.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you have family here that's going to help. All of that's going to weigh out on how much you're putting down.
Right. We're just trying to give you the things to look into to see what the exact cost is going to be for you. The numbers we gave you are just roundabout numbers, you know, something to go off of, a baseline. Well, that's all we have for this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, please make sure you give it the big thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and we will see you next time.